Good evening, everybody. We are here at Salgado Aquatics. We are very excited to be discussing Miracle Mud this evening. And before we start with Leng and Miracle Mud, I just have, and let me speak into this camera, not what I'm seeing. I just have a few announcements. Okay, there's my nose. A few housekeeping announcements, and that is, where was the housekeeping? Oh, congratulations to Photo of the Month winner, D. Lang 3. Woohoo! He was Photo of the Month. Voting is open right now for the July contest. And we have submissions also open right now for the August contest. So get your photos in and please go out and vote. Secondly, I wanted to share that our next meeting is going to feature Lee Lawson as our guest speaker. And we'll again be doing a hybrid meeting, both Zoom and in person. And we will be at School of Fish in DeSoto. Third reminder is Aquashella. Woohoo, Aquashella. The club will have a booth there. The club is looking for volunteers. That helps cut down on our booth cost. So if you'd like to volunteer, you get a really cool t-shirt that says staff on it. And if you want to be a volunteer, target to be there at Aquashella either Saturday morning or Sunday morning at 8:30, because training for volunteers and when they pass out the shirts, that happens at 9. And it's a really big facility. So you may think, I don't need 30 minutes to get from here to the, yes, you probably will. Yeah, I see Drex shaking his head too. So what you guys see live this evening, we will be putting this recording up on our Hobby Club DFWMAS YouTube channel. And a shout out for our subscribers. We are on the grow. We are over 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is awesome. I know, yay. But the recording is not going to have all the different little faces and everything you guys are seeing right now. And stay tuned for after Leng's presentation on Miracle Mud, because we have 2 giveaways we're going to do. We're going to do a giveaway for the in-person people. Yay, in-person people. And then we're going to have a giveaway for the, they're laughing over here. We're gonna do a giveaway for the Zoom people. Yay, Zoom people. And we also have a little something for Salgado Aquatics. I see Juan walking around in the back. And your other staff doesn't need to be here, but we have little gifties for letting us be here this evening. So stay tuned afterwards. You must be present to win, of course. I think that's everything. Is Leng back and ready to go? Leng, I'm going to turn it over to you. We're so excited that you're here this evening to share about Miracle Mud. Thank you so very, very much. And I'll let you start.
Thank you, Lisa. And the person I'd like to thank is Dr. Ryan Reeve for recommending Miracle Mud to Drex. Drex, thank you. And this meeting is because of you. So anyway, the topic that you want me to talk is Miracle Mud, but what you want to know basically is the ecosystem filter, okay? And we are going to talk about that. And we can talk about Miracle Mud, but ecosystem filter is the main thing. And Miracle Mud is part of the ecosystem filter. It's just like protein skimmer, part of the Berlin system, the bioball part of the wet dry filters and all of that. So, and the ecosystem filter is also a denitrated filters, part of it. Denitrated filter is part of the ecosystem filter. The refugium is also part of the ecosystem filter. The plankton factory, or I call it now the living filter, is also part of it. The water chemistry stabilization is also part of the ecosystem filter. So that's why I say it's the most comprehensive filter. And if you watch Robert Brilliante tank, he run the protein skimmer with the mud 24/7, and that's I also that Mike asked me, tell me to name his Paletta system.
I didn't ask you to name it my system, Leng.
Okay, well, that's what we call now, Paletta system. And that from that tank, if you see it, and Drake post that on his website, you don't see it, you go to see it. And from Robert described, that's I can say yes, the best filter system, periods, okay? And what better on top of that is that if the protein skimmer can be run part-time rather than full-time. Before I say 6 hours, but now 7 to 8 hours, okay. And also if you watch Marcus tank that Scott Michael interviewed him in 2005, I was there with him in Germany. He used about 60 pound American mud in his 300-gallon tank there, no skimmer. And that's, I can say, definitely is the cheapest system, that the least expensive system that you can use for your marine reef aquariums and so on, so on. And I need to say that I'm not against protein skimmers, okay? But, and if you have money, extra money, yeah, you can put a protein skimmer, but we just need to find out what is the best to take advantage of everything. Because when you put all the best together, it does not mean that you're going to get the best results. So that's why I done some experiment in 2011 to 2012. And that's what I find now when you run skimmers only 6 hours with the mud. That's the best system. The coral, stony coral, SBS coral, as I recall, it grow a lot faster and have a lot better color than the other three systems that we run along with it. So, and that's what I rank the system number 1. The number 2 system is the one without skimmers, just the mud. And the one that run the mud and the skimmer all the time, that's ranked number 3. And the skimmer, the Berlin system alone, I see a lot of hair, a lot of algae grow on the glass, on the rock and all, so it's number 4. So, and also a few weeks ago, I talked to my friend Russ. He used to work for CPR, and we start talking. That's what he said, healthy fish, simple and easy. And that's what we have. That's what we know a long time ago. But now we are going to focus on that because I'm coming back every once and coming back strong this time. I have a certain purpose to do this, okay? My dream and my goal is to have to expand a hobby and also to retain a hobby. So that is going to be good for everyone, okay? And I do know a way to do that, I believe, because currently, and unfortunately, our hobby is only mainly for men's hobby, because at least 95 to 98% of our hobbies are men, okay? Very, very few ladies get in. And it's not sexist and all that, ladies, you're real special. And we certainly respect that, okay? And what we can do if we can get that segment into a hobby, 50% of our population, it's gonna help our hobby grow, okay? Because if the lady wants something at home, she will get it. If you and I want it, Mike, maybe. So it's a way to help us and everyone have to grow a hobby. And I believe that that I do have some way to do that later on. And That's what it is. And the question is, what if I use different substrate rather than Miracle Mud? Because there's a lot of people copy what I'm doing. What is going to be? Well, I tested that in 2011 against Carib Mineral Mud, Fiji, Walt Smith Fiji muds against Miracle Mud. What I find now that what we just talked about, the zooplankton, all of that, the caliper growing, the reverse of head and lateral liner rows, and it's not happen if you use a different substrate than Miracle Mud. So, and then from my friend Mike, that's what he told me, this become a commodity, so price is different. I need to tell the difference and all of that. Well, he told me a long time ago, I forgot anyway. But the whole thing, if you compare the price of our Miracle Mud to, let's say, Mineral Mud is all, $37.99 to a gallon. And we'll say $60, $70 to a 10 pound. So $30 different and all that. If you take Marcus tank, the 300 gallon tank, you use 60 pounds. So 6 times by 3 is like $180, okay? Just a few frag of coral. It's worse than that. And if you see Marcus tank, he frag at least 100 frag a month. So think about it. So it's, well, I don't really know, it's like if I post it, then yeah, I'm selling, but no, I'm not. That's the reality, is that choose correctly your choice and the health of the animal. And because the Miracle Mud certainly can reverse the lateral line and can retain color of your fish, can produce zooplankton, phytoplankton, whatnot. And on top of that, the caliper, and if you grow Chetamorpha, they grow, and you can harvest that regularly within 1 year. I can say that you can get all your money back from buying the mud, buy the filters and all of that, okay? Because just selling that. With other substrate you use, no, you cannot grow that. I'm sorry. So anyway, that's what it is. The ecosystem filter is the most comprehensive filter, and it keeps your fish healthy and simple and easy. That's all it is. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. And when you ask me, think of the term I use, why I call it Miracle Mud, because a lot of things I see is a lot of miracle there. Yes, from a business standpoint, I don't have a lot of business background. So, and I have that term for a long time, rather than a few years later, Carib copied it, so they took it. Anyway, I'm ready for any for any questions. If you have any questions, please.
Hey, this is Hans. I follow you on everything that you're saying, but I'm not real familiar with the actual product. I mean, I understand all the things that it does, but why? What is it?
It's a substrate that we harvest from Mexico, and we mix with mineral, and we use as a filter medium, not a refusion, a filter medium. And with 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick layer, it becomes a denitrator filter. Very, very efficient denitrator. And denitrators also depend on the level of your phosphate in your tank. So keep your phosphate low, denitrifications happen. So it's a denitrated filter. And the mineral also release a comprehensive mineral to stabilize the water chemistry. And that's why you see all the plankton, all the zooplankton grow. And they don't just grow in the filter, but the stabilization of the water chemistries lead to a lot of growth in the main tank. And if you want to see that, just after the main light turn on, get a flashlight 1 hour later, you can flash into the rock, you will see a lot of them there. Do I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
So I have a question. Is this something that I could put in like a filter media? I was thinking it would be something I would put on the bottom of my refugium, but after hearing you, now I'm thinking I could put it in a canister with a pump and have it go through my system that way.
We see, you will get mineral out of that, okay? But you need to put in a nylon bag and then put into the canister filter, any filter. You will get the mineral. And I have cool RODI water on top of the mud in the 4-inch sock, and we tested with Tritons, and I have that. I sent it to Dragon. It has everything. You get all of that, yes. Yeah. Or you can use 1 or 2 pounds, put into the phosphate reactor and get from that, just like Paul Williams doing in England. But you're not going to get denitrification, denitrate filter. But if you put on in the tray, and if you can find a place so the water just flow over it, then you get both a denitrators and mineral. And that's why we recommend that you need to change some mud every year just to retain mineral. Because if the mineral is depleted, it becomes chemical imbalance. And it happened to this system, and it happened to the Berlin system, anything, because in the Berlin system, we add chemical additives. Some chemical is used up and some is not. And they keep accumulating, and that's become a chemical imbalance. It's just like what I see sometimes, you know, recently, Sanjay, I'm sorry to say, so it happened time after time over time. So, okay, there's so many different ways that we can use this miracle mud, and I'm still learning. I don't know everything yet. After 30 years, I'm still learning. Yeah, I know a little bit more than Mike.
For sure.
Yeah. We have fun, Mike.
I know, Ling, but I saw a tank with 5 conspiculatus angels, and they were all thriving. And I know someone that's killed at least 5. I won't name any names.
I cannot afford 5 conspicuous angels. You're lying.
No, you've had them in the past when they weren't crazy expensive like they are now.
I'm experiment, so yeah, I screw up. We learn from mistakes.
So to Lisa's question there about using a canister, could you use them in combination with the refugium mud down on the bottom, and would that
there's no need. There's no need.
But then you could rejuvenate it by changing out the filter and a sock inside the canister.
I run it in a canister. The problem is it tends to compact down versus putting it in a tray and letting the flow go across it. And then when you need to change, you just lift out the tray, dump it out, rinse it, put new mud in, put it in. It's easier than doing a canister. Canister, in my opinion, is a bigger pain than having something in a tray. And it also doesn't compact down quite as much. And one of the things you get by having it in a tray is more of the microfauna growing in the mud. If you have it in a canister, you won't get the microfauna. You
won't get any, I was thinking that. But if you used them in combination, I was thinking maybe that would be the rejuvenative power of replacing the mud. You would get that experience. Am I off base here, or?
It's just easier to change the tray than to monkey around with the canisters. You're just adding one more thing that can go wrong.
This is what I learned, Michael. When we design a filter before, you put the mud at the bottom of the refuge in the sun, okay? And then we say that, okay, change 1/3, 1/2 every year. And to do that is a lot of work. So people don't like to do that. And so that's why we say, okay, put it in the tray. So you just take one tray out, left or right, whatever, every year or so. And then later on, I see what Paul Williams doing in the phosphate reactor. I say, oh, okay. So rather than remove all the mud from the bottom of the refugium or the tray, you can use the mud to run in the reactor to get the mineral and leave the mud in the refugium or the tray as a denitrated filter. Oh, that's it. So you can do that.
If I'm not mistaken, it sort of depletes it faster if you run it in a reactor.
Yes. If you run in your reactor, it depletes a lot faster. You need to change every 3 months or 4 months, just like you change phosphate media. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you put in the tray, yeah, you do that once a year or every 2 years. It's just you have to alternate, because the whole thing, if you want to keep to retain the mineral level, that's all it is. So,
And just from experience, I've learned, keep it as simple as you can with this, because when you're
Correct.
messing around, if you don't do it right, it can make a big mess in the tank. So if you can shut off your flow through, lift the tray out, dump it out, clean it, put mud that's already been cured in, and I do it every 6 months. I have 3 trays. I trade 1 tray every 6 months. It's pretty simple and easy, and it works great.
yeah, we find our own different ways. So
Well, and
there's
Mike,
no,
I hear you talking about tray, and what I was thinking I would do, because I have a multi-chamber sump. And so I was thinking that where I have my macroalgae growing, which is a rooted macroalgae, I was thinking instead of having argonite, putting miracle mud. But hearing the concept of tray, that's very intriguing. I have one area of my sump where my socks are, and I've got large retrofitted socks in there. And I am the queen of the dollar store, right? If we can do something cheap in this hobby. So I'm thinking I could get some small trays. How tall are your trays?
Yeah, that's exactly where I got mine. I got them at the
Okay.
dollar store. They're about 2 inches high. They're probably a foot, 14 inches long, and about 8 inches wide. And they just the back to back to back. Water goes across them. If you take one out and dump it, you'll see there's worms. There's all kind of things in it. And I never inoculated it with worms or anything else.
what you can do, Lisa, build up the cage. You can grow the calopa in there, the geomorpha, so it will not touch to the mud. And also this, Mike, the tray that you're going to take out, okay?
Yep.
You can sell that. You don't have to throw that away anymore to your friend to help them to speed up the cycle, because in the tray there, it has both aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. That's the first in the world I'm talking here. Because right now you can buy bacteria in the bottle, all aerobic bacteria, okay? There's no anaerobic bacteria. So in this tray, after you set up 7 to 8 weeks, it fully, all of that, all the bacteria. So if your friend set up the system with miracle mud and all that to speed up, yeah, they can use.
It'll help seed his
Yeah.
system.
It's just because everyone don't have a lot of patience. Almost everyone, including me. Okay, we want now.
Yeah.
So if we're doing that, yeah, it can speed up a little bit. So that's something new, and this is something new too. Okay, we figure out that this miracle mud can be used from a few gallon of water tank to any size of tank, millions of gallons if you want. We can do that. It's just a different way to do things. That's all it is. We don't have to construct big filter, no. So it can be from a few gallon to any size gallon, okay? The public aquarium will change one day when I showed all of that, guarantee. So it's it's the most comprehensive. That's all it is. And what I just say, it can do a lot of things, and that's what it is between the skimmers and this filter. People look at the filter, they don't see anything. Water is just passing over the mud through the caliper. And when they look at a protein skimmer, there's something doing over there. So when they look at this, it does not do anything, but it does do a lot of things. And that's coming down to the Lord's work is incredible. We don't understand a lot of things.
And I loved when Drex added Miracle Mud to his system, and he said, I instantly saw my colors brighten, and Drex, I'll let you speak to it, but I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That got me fired up.
Just the vibrant in the colors of my fish. And over a 3-week period of time in my hippo tank, the lateral lines he had in his face started automatically clearing up.
And you don't even use the right amount. It's only 10 pounds.
No, I only had 10 pounds in it at the time. And I said, oh, I undercalculated this. I need more. So I went out, got 30 more gallons or 30 more pounds, and now I have 40 pounds in my system. So, and the clarity of my water is so much crisper.
Yeah, and until you use it, then and when you don't use it, you have a lot of negative saying. That's what happened to me for a long time. And Mike can say that I have been called different name when he when he published that article in Aquarium Fish in 1997, false in 1997. So I have it, all kind of name, but not anymore.
So my question is, I know a lot of us dose trace elements. Now, how does that play into Miracle Mud?
We mixing there, we're putting there.
You're adding some trace elements with the Miracle Mud, but that's part of the reason why you do ICP testing, because it doesn't add every trace element. It adds significant number of them, but we're only at the really beginning of understanding what each trace element does, because some of them are probably good and some of them are bad. And having worked in pharmaceuticals for years, there's what we call a therapeutic window, where there's a certain amount where it's good, you go below that, it's bad, you go above that, it's bad. We still don't really know precisely what those numbers are for a lot of things.
Yeah,
this
well,
adds it in a very slow, gradual way, so it gets taken up more gradually than if we do a bolus. But I mean, I always put this the same way of eating Thanksgiving dinner. If you ate Thanksgiving dinner every day, you'd be a big fat tub of lard. But if you do things gradually and ate small portions of the Thanksgiving, you can maintain things. That's kind of how Miracle Mud works. It's gradually releasing things rather than this big bolus of stuff.
Got you. Awesome.
you have ICP tests, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Whenever I get back home, I will be sending one in as soon as I get back home.
Yeah, and I don't have one, but I have the Triton test from our ODI water. So yeah, later on when I do the front office, yeah, I will do that. But technology, everything. So now we have a lot.
Yeah. The technology in our hobby has grown tremendously.
Yeah, I see a lot of change in lighting, in variety of calls, in pump, but not much in filter, right? Not much.
No, not at all. Now that you say that.
So, no one else, only 3 of us.
No, they say they don't have questions here, but it's interesting to me. And I finally got rid of, now I'm gonna say that I started with saltwater fish before I was born, because back in the 80s, which, obviously I couldn't have been having fish back then, right? But back in the 80s, you guys might remember we had denitrator boxes that you put in your wet dry, oh my God, I want to call it a spinner, and bio balls and
Yeah, the
but
trickle
now-
filter with the spinner on the top to distribute the water evenly over the
Yes.
fireballs. Yep.
and I still have that. And I needed to let that go too, but I got rid of the little boxes just within this last year. And now I'm thinking those would be so perfect. But no, now I'm gonna go to the dollar store and get little boxes and
Yeah, the
put
little
those
boxes
myself.
are easier to work with, and you take them out, and even if they get destroyed, you throw them away. They're $1.25, so it's worth it.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh, that's super cheap. Yep, love the dollar store. Thank you guys. Is there
Well,
any
I've got a
questions
question.
here?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you use a filter sock with your system?
Well, I make some I want to sell, and people want filter sock, mechanical filter add in, but I never use it, Michael. I
Okay.
never use it because what happens is that when the water coming down to that thing coming, first chamber, everything is going to flow into the second chamber where miracle mud, and all the detritus is going to fall to the mud bed. And when you do mud change once a year, you just clean it all out. That's all it is for me. Okay.
Okay.
So if you want to use it, by all means, it's up to you. You clean the filter sock, but I never use it. That's me. Okay. But we do business. Whatever people want, we give it to them.
I've
So-
moved away from the filter sock a little bit, so.
I don't use the socks because they're a pain to clean and pain to take out. I use polyester pads. I take them out, leave them in for 2 days and hose them off because I have a ton of fish in my tank and I get a ton of detritus. And if you take out one of those filter pads and let it sit for a day and smell it, it's like a dead body. So obviously it's taking something really nasty out of the tank.
Well, I use, I don't find the filter sock hard to clean. I just run it through the washing machine with a little bit of bleach. But I've kind of moved away from using it constantly. I use it part-time on occasion. I do know that it catches a lot of things coming out, but I was wondering with the miracle mud, but now Leng's explained it. The miracle mud will catch the detritus all the time. So therefore, the filter sock is probably not as necessary in a system like that.
The mud will catch it and the clerpa will catch it. It'll fall to the mud, and then the organisms that are living in the mud will consume the detritus.
Got it.
Because when the water flows through that second chamber with the mud, with the clerpa, they don't flow really fast, okay? And so it has a time to settle down. And my tank waters never get dirty. I don't see all of that dirtiness. No. And also, when you use this and growing the clerpa, it's also cut down the green algae grow on the glass. Okay, not so much like in the Berlin systems and all. It cut that down too, because the clerpa is also a very efficient computer, to the same nutrient as the algae, the green algae. So, but like in a trade show, when we set up our tank, it's really clear up really fast, not like other system. In other system, yeah, it takes some time to clear up, but when we set up with the mud, no, it clear up in really fast, a lot faster. So.
Oh, awesome.
I'm sorry, somebody else had a question. I'll back out here.
Okay.
Well, go ahead. What's your question? Does anyone else have any more questions? Or are you starting to feel like you won a little prize? Does anyone else have any questions for Leng?
I've got a question for just kind of everybody.
Okay, can you guys hear Tim? Tim, come over to here.
Hello, everybody on Zoom.
Hi, Tim.
So no, my name is Christian. It's nice
I'm
to.
sorry.
It's okay.
Christian.
I got him next to me. So I'm kind of new to this hobby. This is my first time ever going to any of this club's meetings, and I've been keeping reef aquariums for about 3 years, and in the past couple months, I've been playing around with water flow a lot. And recently, I installed a Tunes wave box on my tank, and I've heard a lot of mixed things about these Tunes wave box. So I was wondering if anybody had experience with them, knew anybody with experience, and what your experience was with those wave boxes and running that standing wave in the tank that makes the corals
Yeah,
go back and forth.
they're nice on a small tank, but they don't, as your corals grow and stuff, the flow typically isn't strong enough. Because I'm the biggest advocate of flow that there is, because my philosophy is you can turn off your lights for 3 days and your tank will be fine. You can turn off your protein skimmers for 3 days and your tank will be fine. Turn off your flow for 1 day and your whole tank will be dead. So you have to have a lot of flow. So they're a nice for I mean, a relatively small tank, but over time, as the corals grow, they're inadequate for most tanks.
Yeah, I understand that. So what I've been doing is I use the Tunes wave box in one corner, and then I have a gyre vertically in the other corner that kind of just spins the water around.
Yep.
And I like using the Tunes wave box. I'm not using it as a primary source of flow for the corals, more so just the aesthetics of having the corals sway back and forth. Because I've got gorgonians and leather corals and stuff, and I really
Oh,
like
that's
watching them.
perfect. Yeah, then you're
Yeah.
fine.
How big is your tank?
My tank is 75 gallons, so it's 4 feet. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
was
with
just
the
wondering.
gyre, you down the line, you may need to add another gyre, but that you'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's been going pretty well. The corals are growing well. I was just wondering if anybody else uses them and what you guys thought.
Yeah, no, I used it on a 40-gallon tank and it was nice, but over time the corals kind of overgrew it.
So thank you for that. Yeah, and I'll have to keep that in mind in the future. I'll have to start shopping for gyres at some point.
Yep.
Yep,
Welcome to
thank
the
you.
club, Christian.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
People don't have any question for me?
Nope.
Anybody else?
Okay, thank you, Christian. And so I'm gonna do the, I don't think anybody changed in the, let me just double check. Oh, we had a new person come in on Zoom. Let me put your name into the drawing. With
Seth?
So Zoom people, I'm first going to do the drawing for the in-person people. Dun, 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 drum roll. Christian, woo, come over here. Let me get your picture. Awesome.
What do you win? What do you win?
Oh, sorry. And this is the same thing that we're going to be giving to Zoom people. But here comes the next one. Dun, 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 drum roll. Tim, come on over. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Let me get your picture. Awesome. Thank you. Cool.
Hey, Mike,
Yes, Leng.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for attending, Mike. I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Yes, it's good. Says-
Hey, we're getting thunderstorms here in the next few minutes, so if I lose you, it's because I lost power.
Oh,
You
wow.
must be present to win. So I'm going to do this quickly. I just have to tear the little slips. Now, I only know some of your contact information. So if you are chosen as a winner, you can read. I'm not putting my cell phone out here because we are recording this. But you can use my hobby club email and get in touch with me or reach through the forum. That also works. So you can tell me your forum name and I will know to watch for you. But my hobby club email is secretary@dfwmas.org. And these are the worst tears ever. We have 2 Michaels in the drawing, so let me tear the last names there. Dun, 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 dun.
So, Lane,
Yes,
when it comes to the pods, is it a big, like, beneficial for his life on sustaining your copepods and stuff like that?
If you
I
grow
don't know.
clerpa, you'll grow a lot of copepods, amphipods, other things.
Oh,
And
just,
depending on how good the quality of your live rock is for introducing microfauna, that'll go a long way toward determining what's in the mud. I mean, if you
Oh,
start with all dead rock and don't add anything, they obviously don't spontaneous generate. But if you add them, they'll take off. And if you have clerpa, they'll really take off. I mean, I remember in the early days when I had the mud filter, I could sit there with a flashlight and watch the filter, and there was more stuff going on in the clerpa and in the mud than there was in the tank.
in the
So
main,
you have it really cranked. I mean, it does generate a lot of stuff for the tank, and it does
in the
make
main
fish
tank,
like mandarins and things like that, scooter blennies, a lot easier than it does if you don't have that.
they
wow.
grow in the main tank a lot. It's basically the mud, it releases the minerals to stabilize the water chemistry, and that's what it lead to the growth in the main tank, because the main tank, they have a lot more room to hide the rock and all of that. But you cannot see them during the day because, you know, they have to hide. Fish will eat them. So,
But in the filter, you can see them all the time.
yeah,
There's
in the
nothing
filter,
to eat them.
correct.
And also, Ling didn't talk about this, but one of the things that I found is that if you run the lights on the clerpa in the filter 24/7, it never goes into sexual production, so you never get it going white and suddenly appearing in the tank. And it basically keeps the tank a lot more stable than if you do that reverse lighting or on 16 off 8 or whatever. And it's amazing that clerpa can handle on 24 hours a day.
I don't know everything. I just listen to my biology professor at UCLA. That's it. You turn on the light all the time, it grows faster. So I didn't want to spend any more money to buy the timer, so I just turn it on. So we all learn, Mike.
Yep.
We all learn.
So you run your sump 20 or your light in your sump 24 hours a day, Michael?
I run
Yeah.
24 hours a day. You can run reverse daytime. It doesn't matter to me, but I run all the time. For me, it's our preference. Okay.
Yeah, now I run a red LED bulb on the clerpa 24/7.
So we all, you know, we prefer different thing. So
Yeah, I actually have to add nitrate and phosphate to the water to keep the nitrates and phosphates up because it takes so much out of the water.
it's because the denitrated filter,
Yeah.
like Mike has done.
Because I
Yeah.
did hear that about the clerpa, about running 24/7 on the light cycle.
I
Yeah,
do that.
it'll
I run
grow really
24.
fast and it'll take everything out of the water even faster.
Yeah, but then, like you said, you have to add back in or you starve it.
Yeah, well, I just add more fish and feed them heavier too. I mean, either one works.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this. I had tried this in 2012, okay? Because you heard that marine fish, only people, mainly they have live rock, dead rock, or plastic rock. In your system, you can grow certain coral and you can have any fish you want. So that's going to help for the business to sell more coral, more light and all of that to fish only people. And at the same time, you know, they can propagate that coral that they grow in the fish tank to sell it back. So it's a win-win. They keep healthy fish and they can make money. So it keeps the hobby going.
Awesome.
Rather than keep spending the money. So.
Interesting.
And we you know, like Mike say, I never have any problem to keep mandarin gobies and all that in this tank because food. And when I read one day that, you know, they sell mandarin, the captive bred mandarins like $100, it's just like, wow. And on top of that, you have to keep buying the zooplankton, the live zooplankton every week, every 2 weeks. That's a lot of money. So with this system, is taking care of that. You don't have to, you can buy the cheap mandarin goby. That's it. and you don't have to buy food anymore. It's just coming down. Yeah, they say it's expensive, but if you start looking at all of those maintenance thing, buying the live food, the zooplanktons and everything, I don't really know to argue anymore why people think like that. I don't know.
Just the expense. Just the expense alone on it.
Yeah, expense alone is just a few months. It's paying for everything now. It's, and we don't even talk about that, right? We only talk, if you sell a caliper, okay, you get all the money back. We're not even talking about, you don't have to add any more chemical into the tank. You don't have to buy live food at all. Those are expensive, yeah. And a lot of businesses are going to say that's not going to be good for the business. It's just like when
because they won't sell any of the dry foods anymore.
But the thing is this, right? And that's what long time ago, I went to Texas and go along with Darren, DFW Supply, and in Houston, I came upon to this guy. I said, he said, I cannot support your business because I lose this business. And I could not answer that. And now I do, because success breeds success. Yes, when you sell this filter, sell this mud, you're going to lose certain business, but you're going to lead into a lot of more people setting up more tank. And when people set up more tank, they need a lot of things, like the rock, light, tank, stand, everything. And on top of that, success is also lead to, if you're a success, you're going to recommend to people. Yeah, people want to set up tank, you tell, yeah, it's easy. But if you're not successful, you say, don't do it. So we lose business. And that's what my answer is. Success lead to success. We need to do that. Otherwise, we cannot retain a hobby. Because if you're not successful, Drake, you're not going to recommend to your friend. No. You're going to discourage them. Yeah. But if you're successful, yeah, you will recommend to friend if they ask. And that's what I'm saying. Let's build this hobby and try to retain it. So the more we have hobby, the better we are for everyone.
Absolutely. And let's give some more food away to keep that hobby going. So you must be present to win. And we had to draw some additional names because as we drew some names, some people dropped off. So there's 2 Michaels, and so sad for the one Michael, and so sad for Seth. You lost. You must be present to win. But Michael Cashon, I'm probably killing your last name, but congratulations. Woohoo!
Thank you.
I have for you a Piscine Energetics marine food. Not sure. Here you go. It's 4 ounces, 2 millimeters, 113 grams. So I can mail it to you, or we'll make arrangements not on the recording.
Okay.
And then the other winner, who is still here, is Drex. So congratulations, Drex.
You know what, Lise?
What?
Lee?
Who else? Pass it on to somebody else.
You want to pass this on? Okay,
Yes,
then we're going to draw another name. You want to pick another name? We're picking another name. James F. Is James F still here? James F, you are still on. Congratulations. Woohoo.
Cool.
We see you, James F. Woohoo. So reach out to me.
Yes.
And you also got a Piscine Energetics. It's a 4 ounce. It's 113 grams. It's their 2 millimeter food for marine. It's a wonderful food. And later this year in October, our meeting, we're going to actually have a Piscine Energetics presentation. But I will get this to you. So, but on this recording, let's not share personal information.
That'll work.
And then I have something here to thank the store. So for the Zoom people, because they can't see it. It's Swedish fish in a little bag. So it has 2 bags of Swedish fish. And so, one, I want to thank you for having us. This is for you and everybody out here. Thank you so much. So Salgado Aquatics is one of our newer sponsors, so please come out and support them. And if you're not on their mailing list, do get on their mailing list. You can sign up on their website. Drex, is there anything else I'm supposed to cover? I think that's everything for this evening.
That should be it. Not unless
Okay.
Leng has anything else he wants to share.
No.
No, well, Leng, thank you so very much for coming out
Yes.
this evening. We really appreciate you coming and sharing, and God bless you, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Mike.
It's not the last time we talk, okay?
No,
Sounds good.
now there will definitely be a part 2 on this.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Well, there will be a lot more information later on, so it's more fun. Okay.
And with that in mind, there are 2 recordings. So when this gets posted up to the Hobby Club website, DFWMAS, Dallas Fort Worth Marine Aquarium Society YouTube channel, there will be 2 links to 2 additional videos right there on our YouTube page. So just move down to the comments to see them. And we'll also be posting a link on our website and on our Facebook page. And there you'll also see these additional recording links. Although I think they're already out there, I'm just going to put them all consolidated one place, easy to find. So Drex, thank you already for getting some of that information out there.
Yeah.
And Lang, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
your experience tonight. And everyone, thank you for participating, and have a great month and stay safe.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Now, I can.
Thank you, everybody, for showing.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your info with us, Leng. I'll talk to you
Thank
later.
you. Okay.
Everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.